All right, we're getting settled in here. Let me mute myself so I don't have an echo. There we go. Great. Okay, so Haunted Tank. I've been working on this 6, 7 hours. I don't know. I'm going to try and finish it up tonight. So I've got the paints here. I haven't really gotten them wet to reinvigorate them too much. But we hope to be able to finish this out tonight. And just to limber up first, we're going to work on putting in some more intense smoke. You can see this is the original. We light boxed and traced the lines, and now we are all just about the color. Trying to break up. That is a nice rich black there. Always amazed, as I said, about how intense the actual color of a watercolor black can get. Very deep. Where's our number one? Got our number one brush. And pick up some of those lines there. Basically, we want to make this explosion seem, you know, smokier, as one would expect from burning oil and metal and such. I'm going to drop in some more debris as well. That's one thing. If you have a really runny black, sometimes, you know, once you let it dry, it dries fairly gray. And we want, again, a nice deep black for a lot of these. Having some of that gray as a smoke is perfectly acceptable. I have no problem with that. That's adding a good bit of depth already, just in a little bit of line, excuse me, line work that we've added. And that's what I've been practicing a lot with the watercolors, is finding the appropriate depth of color. Some places you want it a little bit more heavy than others, some places a little bit lighter. What's up, the bingo? Bye-bye, son. Come down from what will eventually be a nice dark border line. So we've had our first couple of actual, I'm not going to call them snowy days, but we have had legitimate snow. Not a lot of accumulation, but enough that, you know, car windshields had a fair dusting. That's something. First of the season is always interesting. Trying to get up against where that line's going to be. And again, it's easy enough to correct once we get to the line. I don't need to be too precise. Let that be a little bit thin. So there's these sections here. That way the actual true black lines can stay visible while still a little extra smoke can come through. That feels a little bit better. Just adding some more depth around that. Okay, so we got some question areas. Basically around the top here, how do we want to do any sort of color? How do we want to differentiate between the gun and the general's hands and the sky? Any background here? So let's check on the opposite of the color wheel. Let's see where that would be. It'd be closest to a bluish green, very light blue. Would already be the orange, and you know, so that's kind of tricky. Maybe they did that on purpose. How do we want to what do we want to do? Again, we're going to do some just extra black depth for the other explosion scene as we think about how we want to approach those other big open areas. And I, both, you know, out of a conscious decision and out of, you know, laziness, did not look to find a, you know, color version of this page. Perhaps it would have been smart, but I wanted to actually just come into this with my own vision for things. And again, I'm trying to learn. I've had to do a lot of hand illustrating for the, well, pretty much everything except for the fighting game stages, and this has been a sketch first. And then into the painting. But I've been, you know, specifically saying I'm not trying to practice illustration. I want to practice painting. So with this, it's not just the painting, it's a lot of color theory, more like what an actual colorist would do, as opposed to just painting technique. There's some theory involved, and that's kind of neat for me to actually go one level deeper than my norm. And get into not just putting the colors out there, but understanding why we're putting them out there. Hang on 1 second. All right. I am back. Perfect. All right, so still working on okay, well, I guess we have to bite the bullet eventually. How do we want to address it? I would go with a gray, but we've got the gray, we've got the blue. A dark blue? Like a dark blue? I do not know. Burdens. I'll finish off the top of the gun. We left some space out so as to not interfere with the explosion or the ricochet sort of effect. Part of that picks up his shoulder. We may come back in with a little olive drab for that section. Get my angles lined up here for my brush. Really, it should be coming from the inside out, not the top down. I'm trying to think of, I can name a few famous inkers. but it's less. I have a harder time thinking of famous or prominent colorists, which I think is, again, as I go farther into this activity, kind of a bummer, because they should have a lot of recognition for the work they do, because this is not easy. So who's been really good for colors? Not just inks. Need to get some more shading on my dude's face. So we're going to mix a little bit of the brown from his outfit colors. Just for some shading. On our dude. Again, not sure what's happening. Somebody's kicking the Wi-Fi or what, but hopefully we'll stay connected for a minute here. If nothing else, again, I just like to use these to capture my own paintings for later. All right, there we go. Man, can't even stay connected. So if I go around the letters now, I'm kind of locked in. Okay, let's just pick a scene. For now, I'm going to go ahead and box in panel 2.
Doing it, Kojak.
Good job, Kojak. You scared me there for a second.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm going to get this line nice and straight as we go down the panel border. There we go. Again, this is a page from A Haunted Tank, written, I believe, by Bob Kanigher and illustrated by Joe Kubert. Joe Kubert at the peak of his abilities. Carried on by his sons, Andy and Adam. That line was a little bit thicker than we wanted. Too liquid. So let's get some of the solid chunk of black and just pull some water down over it to get on the brush. We've already got kind of the bottom. So we're going to do the top, at least, yeah, here we go. This will be kind of a joined 2-panel. I guess I just might as well accept that we have some thick lines there on those ones. Uh-oh. A little bit far north and a little bit far east. Still, it does add a nice weight to it. I'm going to come down, actually from bottom to top, because we're going to go, again, left to right. mix up some of the white a little bit better. Have to kind of, the white separates in a strange way, so you really have to get it mixed back in. It's not just one color, there's like a little bit of yellow in it to get it to be the white. So let's put it, I was going to brush this over the hand to lighten it up. At the same time, we take off some of the excess liquid so we get some color without too much thickness. We may actually, that might be the approach. Let me get some fresh white. Now we're going to treat this a bit more like a gouache. Don't need much. So we're going to go with a thicker, more solid color of the white. Just going to get our brush itself wet, come into that fresh pot of white. Yeah, that'll work better. We're going to add some of these highlights to make the hand pop out a little bit more in comparison to the sky. Then we can come back in and add the details around the fingers again. It will also give us a chance to really break up between the sky and the piece down here. Try that off a little bit.
Look.
That's a very cute Christmas
Gonna
bag.
be a drawstring bag. Look at the inside.
That's very nice. I think that was going to be fantastic for Christmas.
I could pattern match.
You are a fantastic pattern matcher. How long did it take you?
So
Probably, it sounds like
I'm
the
not
cutting.
done yet.
I know, it looked like the cutting was the longest part.
The cutting it and then figuring out how to line it up.
All right.
And then I accidentally sewed shut something that I needed to keep open.
Well, that's how we learn. So, I can frame this piece in and then come back into the lettering and the word bubble. Let me get a little bit of dark blue. Okay, that helps. How do we want to add some smoke? Just getting hints of this gray. Keeping it still very, very liquid. And letting it flow like smoke. Get a little bit darker. Take a little bit, actually a drop or two of just pure black as we go up. Just pepper it in. I like that.
Okay, I need to use the edge of this.
Okay.
Or the edge of this.
Whichever is easiest for you. We can accommodate. This is the art room, not just the Brian painting room. While I've got you.
Hold on.
Okay.
23 plus 32 is what?
55?
No. 32 minus 23. 9.
I'm sorry, what?
23 plus 9 is 32.
Yeah. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to come across the bottom here. Framing in panel 5. This is a pretty thin black, so we have to come back through again once that dries to get the color we're looking for.
Okay, what's your question?
The top panel and the panel in the middle, where I've got a lot of white space. I'm wondering what color, if any, I should use.
I have to think about it.
Fill in.
I'm in this right this second.
I understand completely.
I'll
I got
be
you.
right back. I have to cut something off.
No worries. So we're come across the bottom here, and we are going to keep the corner cut out. That they had in there for the page number. You want to come up on the right hand side, again from bottom to top, left to right. I really have enjoyed this particular project. It has been a time-consuming one for sure, but I've enjoyed it. And so I've been thinking about what kind of page I would like to try and paint next. I actually wanted to paint some Christmas ideas to print on like gift tags and use that as something I could sell. Print those up, because I saw them at Container Store. They were selling like a pack of 12 or 15 or so. Nice right there. For $7.50. And I figured prints of hand painted local art at a craft store or at a craft show sort of thing, could probably charge a little bit more than that and still find a really good audience, especially if the art was stylized. Look at this right there. Something kitschy or funny or risque. I think all of those would do well as little label tags. Just print them up the same place I had print up the Halloween Mad Balls. Oh, careful there. But on the back, as opposed to just having our stream address and the email address, we could actually have it, say like to and from. Still maybe self-contact information on there. A lot of things show where they are printed or who drew them, who created them. And I tried one. I don't know if you guys... Cody Vor's TikTok. She did a song to that, or a bit of a dance to the Gregory Brothers remix of that little kid talking about corn. And there was a bit where she's got like a little nurse's uniform. It does a cute little bounce when they say it has the juice. And I was using that as kind of the inspiration for a Mrs. Claus. That's looking pretty good. But I don't have the talent to actually draw that and make it look good. Just don't have that skill yet. Again, I don't know if I ever will, because I don't know that that is the skill I want to master. I can see where it would be very beneficial. You know, thinking of, you know, famous musicians being known for one instrument, but being quite proficient at others, as multi-instrumentalists. So I can see where being a good illustrator would be quite beneficial to, you know, me trying or being able to create the kind of paintings that I want. I've been pretty happy so far with the Mad Balls. Really liked those. Wasn't able to expand that into other things. Like, I can come back and do more Mad Balls, but when I tried to do a purely original, as opposed to even, you know, building off of reference, when I was doing like the Street Fighter Mad Balls, only one that came close to looking reasonable, so I decided to finish it, was Zangief. The Dalsim Mad Ball did not come out great, and the Chun-Li certainly did not. But, you know, I was looking at 50s style Christmas illustrations as the general aesthetic that I was looking to emulate or to build from, using whatever we eventually determine is my own style. Some cutesy reindeer, snowmen, so on and so forth. And then, of course, again, a sexy Mrs. Claus. Who doesn't want to see a sexy Mrs. Claus? I think everybody would be into that. The line is too thick there, and the color is too thin. What a sad combo. Let's kind of just darken that up a little bit. It's okay. Things often take 2 coats to get solid. Nice and steady, west to east. try a little bit. Doing a little mix here. The water, no, that is not wet enough. The paint's breaking up. There we go. So I've been playing Marvel Snap these past couple of days, and the more I get into it, the more I'm actually enjoying the strategy of it, and I like the I guess it is just be random, but I like the surprise changes that come from the locations. Plus, if nothing else, like I said, it gives me a lot of cool new locations to put into Uwatubot. It actually helped. What to do, what to do. I'm not going to try and do the lettering. With a brush. I'm trying out a couple different pens here to see what feels the best. Surprisingly, it is the Sharpie. So we're going to do a little bit of lettering. So maybe we can close off some sections of this as we determine what to do with the big open sections in panels 1 and 3 before we block out, maybe using some of our oil pencils here to handle some of the rest. But That does add, just adding black lines adds so much, mixing solid. Really, it's a huge difference. Okay. We're running out of ways to avoid making decisions. You know what? I don't even know. I'm going to grab the book. How am I going to? I don't have, like, whatever. No, not going to work. Not going to work. So, put it out of our mind. We're going to get General Stewart's word balloon. That does help. Is that the tank maybe that we're looking at underneath there? Who knows? There we go. putting details around their fingernails? Yes, I figure this guy would have somewhat dirty fingernails. That's just a fact of life of being a combat tank crew. No time for mani-pedis. Okay. Smack it up, flip it, and rub it down. Oh no. The haunted tank painting wants to do me. The ridiculous things you say to yourself while painting. Oh, to get back on an earlier thought. Like I said, I'm not sure what I want to paint after this. I've been thinking of you can't paint on, or you can't write very well on the paint. You have to go right outside it. I was thinking of horror titles, like some really gloopy EC horror. I was thinking of getting some really funky Jack Kirby, like Blacklight Kirby. I originally thought like, oh, let's just do some simple Spider-Man business, but I'm like, you know what? There's so much wacky stuff you can do with comic book colors. Why, look, I got Captain America's shield in the perfect shades of, red, white, and blue. That's nice and all. But not necessarily where the real wild stuff happens. Some Frank Miller, Klaus Janson, Daredevil, perhaps? Those could be pretty bold. The MG bucked under me like a riveting gun gone mad, nailing a wall of flaming rivets into which the enemy was bolted. Prose wasn't the greatest there, but you get the imagery. Still don't know what to do with those empty spaces. I will not be getting a career as a letterer anytime soon. That's for damn sure. Maybe the Wi-Fi signal is bad down here, but we are almost done with the page. We're doing some lettering with pen at the moment rather than by brush. And then we still need to determine what to do with the background space in panel 1 and panel 3. We may use some pencils to separate in panel 2. But yeah, I don't really know what I want to do next. If we go to a Kirby page, I would have to be really deliberate about the blacks. Inking over Kirby was always really bold, and it'd be a challenge to find the balance between those really rich, deep blacks and the bold colors you see a lot of times. All right, so let's go ahead and back to the brush. Nice and wet. Get it back into the black here. Basically going to frame in panel 1 and that word box, the thought box, editor's box, whatever it may be. Then we've got some decisions to make. So again, we go left to right. In this case, I've got it flipped, but it's still going to go south to north. Once I get a good line, that'll do. I do have a good number of frames. Amazon has cheap 9x12 frames. So I've got some space where I can pop this with the fighting game stages and find some wall space. I don't have, oh Dan, I don't have good frames for the 6x9 stuff like the Mad Balls. I don't know why. I guess because 5x7s are cheap, because that's a popular photo print size. But I guess 6x9 is just not something that they make a lot of. And I can't imagine custom framing is ever cheap. Hydrate, don't dehydrate, as the young ones would say. probably should have erased some of the base lettering before framing this piece in, but didn't. We had some bad luck with erasing earlier on in panel 2. That's why it's kind of giving me pause. So we have a choice. Right now this shows page number 10 in this bottom little corner here. We could use that 10, or we could use it as a subtle spot for signature. I'm going to use it for a signature. All right, so we still need to frame in the bottom of panel 3. And this, actually the side of panel 3. Got a couple missing lines there. Good thing we didn't pack up shop just yet. The power of just a few simple black lines to really define things is astounding. I don't know why I didn't draw those in to begin with, but I just wouldn't pay attention. It's all right. There we go. That helps. Dark blue there, even sensible? Or do we want to go straight, pop art? Get bold with it. Blue and orange aren't bad. Blue and orange are perfect. Let's see how that compares on the scratch. So the blue and the orange look okay next to each other. But I don't know if that's how I want to do it at all. Oh, decisions, decisions, decisions. You know what? Let's water that way down. Just thin it all the way out. You know what? I actually really do like the look of that. Not too heavy, but does add some contrast. Especially with the blue on either. You know what? That's actually pretty brilliant. But what about the top? And his teeth. I kind of jacked up his chiclets. Adding some shading a little bit. That was too dark. Just thin that out a lot. Paper towel is a big help when doing watercolors. All right, so let's try and do a little bit of pencil definition. Egyptian blue is a good one. What's this? That's the actual black. This is our first time using the oil pencils to help add some definition. I'm liking it. It's subtle but decent effect. Maybe overdid it down here. But that might be it. Let's take a look. Top panel. The general appeared while I was staring at my hands in horror. Fire, fire, fire! Before that buzzard squashes the tank. Calm down, Lieutenant. I felt his shadowy hands on mine. A fine time to get buck fever. The MG bucked under me like a riveting gun gone mad, nailing a wall of flaming rivets into which the enemy was bolted. Wham! You got him. You got him, General. You got him. You got him. Maybe I need to add a little bit more emphasis on the second you got him. It's ugly bold, but it does show bold. All right. That might be it for tonight. That might be a wrap up on Ye Old Haunted Tank. I honestly don't know what else I can do. Let me get my eraser fully clean. I'm not smearing former lead. That's doing okay. We let the ink dry pretty well. We'll come back down to that last panel. You know what? I can still hit some of the light black lines that are kind of grayed. Come back and take those a little bit more firm. Good. We don't have to erase over the paint, which is what causes the problem in panel 2. Clam down, Lieutenant. It's a good line, but make it a thin line. Trying to see if there's anything else I want to really touch up. better line. Well, for now, I'm going to call it. So, I know we had some fits and starts this evening, but that is my first full page. Oh, that is lovely. Pull it tight. Let's see how it goes. That is perfect for Christmas presents.
Isn't it cute?
That's very cute.
You did a good job.
You did a fantastic job.
I'm going to make a bigger one.
Yes. I decided...
What do you think?
I think those are fantastic, and
Good?
those are going to be good for years to come. So,
Yeah.
that's a very cool.
I think I got them twisted. Oh, well.
It's all right.
Still works.
Yep. For this panel, to go against the blue, I just went with a really thin orange, which I think worked out okay. I think I might just leave the first panel blank to focus on the people.
Okay.
But I think that's it.
Do you think this blue is good, or do you think I should have done this?
No, I think the blue is fine.
But there's blue in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a crafty night here in the household.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I think I'm going to pack up.
I'm going to put my bag right there.
Right there. All right. Well, who knows what's going to come up next? I think it'll be probably either Christmas stuff or another fun comics panel. Tune in and see. Thanks, y'all. Have a good evening.